Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bernard from the BTN HD, and today is all about 2019 hydration kits. And hydration kit is basically a PowerShell or utility that allows you to install and configure SCCM, MDT, SQL, and a domain controller for testing purposes. Now, I got this information within deploymentresearch.com. This individual posted an awesome article that kind of intrigued me, and I wanted to test it out to see how it works. So here it goes. So I'm running everything within an Azure environment, and within Azure, I created a virtual machine, which is a Windows 2019. So on this machine, if I right click on the start menu, go to run, type in WinVER, hit OK. And the version and build that I'm running is 1809, build 17763. Within the article, there's a lot of stuff that we need to gather. I'm going to make it super easy for you guys and zip this hydration kit folder that I have on my desktop and then upload it into my GitHub repository so you guys can get a copy. I think the only thing that I would not provide within the repository is my reference image. And everything else I will provide for you guys. Like the SQL Server 2017, that's basically something that I downloaded online and you can get a copy of it, but I'm going to give you all the exe files for you guys to have it. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm using Hyper-V Manager, and within my Hyper-V Manager, within the cloud Azure, I was already using it. I already have 3 virtual machines already in place. Because again, I was playing around with it. Now, the first thing that we need to do is install MDT because this hydration kit works with MDT. So on the host, this Windows Server 2019 that I have up in the sky within Azure, I'm going to install, my ADK, which I'm going to install AD K10 version 1903. So I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to run it. I'm going to hit next here, hit no, click next. Accept the license and terms, leave all the default, install. It's going to process and it's going to complete. Now, if you already have MDT already in place within your environment that's working with no problem, you could basically skip this part and go straight into running the hydration kit PowerShell, which I'm going to show you guys pretty soon. If you do not have MDT installed, continue watching right here, right? Now, the next thing that we need to do is install the Windows AD K10 version 1903 WIM PE add-on. So double click on the MSI, hit next here, hit no, click next, accept the license and terms. You only have one thing that's going to be installed, which is the Windows pre-installation environment stuff. Click next, click install. It's going to do its thing and it's completed. Now, with Microsoft, there's an additional thing that we need to run with our Windows ADK. It's so silly that we have to do this. Make sure that you download Windows SIM version 1903 update. We're going to right click on that file, extract all the files, hit extract, and there is a batch file that we need to right click on it and run it as administrator and run it. Okay, cool. Now, again, we need to have the host. Well, this machine, this host, I needed to have MDT to work. So I downloaded my MDT 8456 MSI file, double clicked on it, and I got the nice little wizard. Click on next, accept the license and terms, next, next. I don't want to join the program at this time, so click on next, install. It's going to start copying the files and you're done. Click finish. Now with the instructions online, it looks like we needed to create a setup folder within the C drive, and within the C drive, we needed to copy over the Windows AD K10 version 1903 MSI file and also the Windows AD K10 version 1903 WIM PE add-on folders inside the setup folder that we created inside the C drive. Okay, so again, this hydration kit file folder that I have right here on the desktop has all this right here, and I'm going to zip it for you guys and provide it, okay, so you guys can follow along. So all I did was just copy these 2 folders within the hydration kit and just moved it inside the C drive that I created a folder called setup. The first folder, which is the Windows 10 ADK version 1903, I hold the shift key, I right clicked on it, and I wanted to open it within a PowerShell window, and I ran the following commandlet, which again, the article stated online. So when you run this command, it's going to load up this. You're going to hit next here. For the Windows Kit privacy, I clicked on no, next here, accept the license and terms, it's going to start downloading the features. It's not installing it, it's downloading the features locally. It's going to drop it inside the D drive. Click close here. And if you double click on that folder and you double click the original folder that I dropped in, the folders are different. Okay, it's only one file that's common and is basically the ADK setup file. But the new one that we kind of ran that command on has the installer as well as an XML document. So what I did was deleted the folder that had the ADK setup, and I got kind of smart, and I just basically removed the ADK When PE MSI file, and I moved it inside the root of setup rather than having an additional folder, because technically I don't really need that MSI, because that MSI is going to be dropped inside a folder with the installer folder as well as that XML file. I went back into the root of the C drive and I found the setup. I held the shift key and right clicked on it, and I opened PowerShell Windows here, and I ran the following command line. And the following command line is basically calling out the ADK When PE Setup with a parameter of / layout, and I want to drop it inside the setup folder with another folder called Windows AD K10 version 1903 When PE. Hit enter. You're going to get this nice little dialog box. Click next. Pick your answer from here. I pick no. Click next. You want to accept the license and agreement. It's not installing it on your machine. It's just basically downloading the features locally inside that folder. Once it's completed, you are able to click close. And now you have that folder that we created. I right click on that ADK When PE file and I deleted it. And I double clicked on side that Windows ADK 10 version 1903 When PE folder that was created within that PowerShell command. And bingo, it has the installer folder as well as the XML. And it also has the ADK When PE setup file that we just deleted, right? So we're good to go. Now, again, within that hydration kit folder that you guys downloaded and unzipped and extract, there's another folder called hydration kit. And within that hydration kit, there's a zip file. If we right click on that file, extract all, click on extract, it's going to extract another folder called hydration CMW 2019. Double click on it. You're going to see a source folder, double click on it, and you're going to see other folders. You have extra hydration media and that PowerShell command. Okay. Now from here, we're going to go back inside the hydration folder, and we're going to right click on the hydration CMW 2019 that was extracted within that zip file. We're going to copy it. We're going to go inside the C drive and we're going to paste it. Okay. Following instructions on the article. And this is the way that they did it on the article side. Okay. So we're going to double click on it, go back inside sources, and we need to locate that PowerShell file. So I like to open up Windows PowerShell ISC. I made sure that I ran it as an admin level, and we're going to run it. When you run it, a lot of stuff starts happening behind the scenes. I did receive some issues, and the issues that I received were at the very bottom. There's a bunch of commands that are trying to copy items to certain specific locations within the C drive. I did a little bit of investigation, so I clicked on Start. I opened up and located my deployment workbench. And within here, I expanded my deployment workbench shares, and I saw a new deployment share. Again, the PowerShell script creates this for you. When you expand it, you go inside applications, there's nothing in it. There's supposed to be something in it, because if you review that PowerShell script, there's stuff that's supposed to be copied over to the deployment share, such as your applications, and it wasn't there. So I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? So what I did was I went inside the hydration CMW 2019 DS, which is the deployment share that they created. Within applications, there was nothing in there. Okay. So if you look at the PowerShell script, within sources hydration, there's an application folder, control, operating system, and scripts folder that was supposed to be copied over to your deployment share. So all I did was just highlighted all that stuff manually, copied it, and I pasted. Again, you're replacing stuff that was already created in there because those folders are already in there. So I just say replace the files and destination. If you open up the application folder, you're going to see everything that should have been there when the PowerShell ran, but it didn't. So I manually just did the copy and paste approach, right? And it worked. You're going to go inside hydration CMW 2019 source media, and we're going to copy that control folder. Okay. Now within your Hydration CMW 2019 root folder, there's a folder which is ISO. Within ISO, there's another folder, content. And within content, there's another folder called deploy. When you get inside deploy, you're going to see control. We need to copy the media control folder over to that deploy folder. Okay, so you're basically taking this folder and then copying it inside this location, ISO content deploy. Just replace it. Now, when you open up your workbench, you're going to see within the application node all the applications that we need. If you click on operating systems, you're going to see our operating system there. If you look at the task sequence are going to have 3 of them, one for your config manager, one for your domain controller, and your MDT. Now, if you read the instructions online, the first operating system that you need, which is a must, is your domain controller, right? Because SCCM will not install correctly if you don't have a domain controller. So make sure that's the first one that we install, which that's what we're going to do. So the next thing that we need to worry about is our reference image. So our reference image needs to be converted into a WIM file. I did a video with you guys using, I believe, PowerShell and OSD Builder on creating a reference image for Windows Server 2019. It created an ISO, which most likely you're able to import it inside your MDT or your SCCM. But for this video, we need a WIM file. So I located a particular script that allows you to take an ISO and convert it into a WIM. So what I did on line 13 on the variable that says $ISO, I pointed it to the ISO that I created with you guys during the video of, creating a reference image for Windows Server 2019. So the script, all it does is just that patched up ISO that we created together on a video that I created for you guys a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to place the video at the bottom so you guys can review it. It took that patched up Windows Server 2019. It did what it needed to do. It mounted, unmounted, and it converted into a WIM file. Now, the cool thing is that the WIM file is the same name that we need for this hydration kit to work correctly. So in line 19, there's a variable called $ref image equals to $ref image folder /ref ws 2019-001.wim. That is the same name that we need for this WIM file for our hydration kit. So don't worry, I will provide the script for you, and make sure you guys check out that video that we did together on creating a reference image for Server 2019. Okay, so the next step that we need to do is copy that WIM image into our deployment share operating systems node. And inside the operating system, there is a folder called WS 2019. I'm going to open up that folder, and we're just going to drag it and drop that WIM file inside that folder, because that WS 2019 folder was created within PowerShell. Okay, so it is time for us to start copying and pasting stuff over. So the first thing that we need to copy over is the BG info. BG info automatically is a zip file, so make sure you extract all that information, and what you want to do is copy all that stuff over inside the BG info folder inside applications. Okay. Each application folder has a source folder. So you're going to open up sources and just drag and drop the files inside the source path. For Windows AD K10 version 1903, we're going to go inside the deployment share applications and then just locate Windows AD K10, open up sources, and just drag and drop that information in there. Okay. Same thing goes with the Windows ADK When PE. Locate within your deployment share, install -Win PE add-ons for Windows AD K10, open up sources, drag and drop those files over. Then for SQL, again, within your hydration kit, I'm going to provide all that information for you, highlight all those files, and within your deployment share, go inside your deployment share, applications, install -SQL Server 2019, and open up sources, and just drag and drop those files in there. Now for your CU, which is an update for SQL Server 2019, inside sources of your deployment share, we are going to right click, go to new, and create a new folder called updates. We're going to open up updates. We're going to drag and drop that update inside that folder, okay, to keep SQL Server 2019 nice and updated. Next thing that we need to do is move over our SQL Server Management Studio. Locate the deployment share DS. Within DS, go inside application folder. Go inside install-SQL Server Management Studio. And inside there, just drag and drop that application inside there. All you're doing is copying stuff over into your application folder. And then within Config Manager, locate within your deployment share applications, install config sources, and there's an exe file when you download the config manager. So we need to extract that. So double click on it, unzip it, and unzip everything within the config manager folder. And I'm going to select auto run, language pack, SMS setup, and as well as splash, and just move that stuff over to the source folder. Once you do that, we need to create a folder called prerequisites, and we need to, download the prerequisites for SCCM inside that folder. Now, to do that, we need to go inside the following folder of your config manager SMS setup bin x64. You're going to locate the exe file setup DL, double click on it, and you're going to get the downloader. Now for the path, you're going to specify where you want the prerequisites to be downloaded. Again, I'm going to download it inside the DS, applications, install-config manager prerequisite folder that we created, and click download. It's going to start downloading 53 files inside that folder that we created. And we're done with the config stuff. Now, the next thing that we need to do is, because we're installing SCCM, we need to extend the Active Directory schema. So within the DS application folder, there is another folder called config-extend AD for config manager. And inside that folder, there's a folder called source. We need the utility to extend our Active Directory schema. So you want to go inside SMS setup bin x64. You want to locate extadsch and just copy that file over to your source folder. Now it's time to do the MDT stuff. So just move your MSI MDT over. Once you move your deployment installation file over to your application folder, we're going to click on Start, locate our deployment workbench, and then from here we're going to go inside Advanced Configuration and expand that, go inside media, and we need to right click on media and update the media content. This process takes a while, and it's going to start creating the media ISO, and once it's done, you're good to go. Click on finish. And if you go inside the C drive, again, we copied that hydration CMW 2019 folder. You're going to see 3 folders. You're going to see your DS, which is your deployment share. You're going to see your hydration CMW 2019, which contains the sources, the media, and that PowerShell script, and your ISO. Now, the ISO folder, if you open up the ISO folder, you're going to see a huge ISO file that you're able to mount inside your VMware environment or your Hyper-V environment to load up, boot into, and start installing your domain controller, your MDT, or your MCCM. I'm going to take that file, and that's what I'm going to use within my Hyper-V Manager. So I'm going to open up my Hyper-V Manager, click on New, go to Virtual Machine, click Next here, provide a name. It's going to be DC01. That is what we need to deploy first, your domain controller. We're going to click Next here. For your generation, we need to pick Generation 2 for both your DC01, your MDT, as well as your SCCM. So that's what I picked, Generation 2, and then you click Next. For memory, for your domain controller, they do recommend at least 2 gigs. So I gave it 2048 megabytes. For your connection, I gave it a NAT switch that I have within my Hyper-V Manager. Click Next. And from here, we are going to create the virtual hard disk. I gave it 127 gigs as default. For your installation options, we're going to pick Install Operating System for my CD, DVD, ROM. And for the image, we're going to pick the Hydration CMW 2019 ISO that was created within our MDT. Click Next, Finish, Done. Not yet. So we're going to double click on that DC01. Click on Start. It's going to start loading up the files, and right there, our task sequence. Like I said before, we need to deploy our domain controller first before we do the SCCM. So click on Domain Controller, click on Next, and it's going to start doing its thing automatically. Once it processes and starts installing the operating system, it's going to reboot constantly. It's going to start loading up. Once everything is completed, you should see this right here, Find a configuration utility for MDT hydration is completed. Again, this is your domain controller, and that's the first machine that you need deployed within your environment. I did have some trouble in the very beginning. I think the only problem that I had was the PowerShell script, and I did have some problems deploying the operating system because I had like a dirty MDT environment. So make sure that your MDT environment is clean and it's able to deploy with no problem. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Please share out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them at the bottom. And I catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.